Hello, welcome friends. My name is Avinash and I welcome all of you to another interesting episode of Corporate High Flyers. Friends, in these episodes, we talk to emerging companies from emerging sectors, and we make it a point to talk to the promoters of such companies. We get a lot of valuable information from the promoters about their company's business model, their growth journey, and their future growth plans. And in this way, it benefits a lot for the retail as well as the institutional community. Uh, and friends, today we've got a very interesting company from a very interesting field and which is going to hit the capital market very soon. The company's name is Nephro India Limited, and I have the privilege of having the top management team. We have Dr. Pratim Sengupta, who's the promoter and managing director of the company. Doctor, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. I'm quite sure we'll have a very productive discussion. And we also have Mr. Tapan Saha. He's the CFO of the company. So, sir, welcome to you also. Sir, first question, Doctor, which is very important and very elementary, of course. Can you please tell us something about your business journey? How did you get into this business from a doctor, then into a businessman? And what is this business model all about? If you could tell us what are the main service, verticals which Neprocare provides to its customers. So please, if you can share your thoughts.
Yeah. So to me, business is something, as a businessman looks it, and to me, the business is a totally different ballgame altogether. I look business providing some service which ultimately returns to the money in a very simple way. So I'm a nephrologist. I deal with the patients who are suffering from kidney problems. So when we started treating the patients with a kidney disease, they have a multiple unanswered problems. There are multiple challenges which was not touched upon by the current system through which we deliver the nephrological care. We used to deliver the nephrological care. So I started the Nephro care dates back 2014, and we understood in a journey of a kidney disease patient who is suffering from chronic kidney disease, there are so many different needs which are not otherwise routinely served by the doctors or the healthcare institution. So our model started with closing those gaps, touching those pain points, touching those needs or the desire of the patients which are not otherwise served by any other models, any other so-called nephrological care providers. So we started from retarding kidney disease progressions. We started from providing them very good nutritional service. We started to serve them through the yoga to improve their vitalities, their depressions, all these other challenges which comes. And obviously the cutting edge medical technological care which I provide to the modern medicine. All together is a 360-degree holistic care, which ultimately established in the nephro care. And once it has been formed, our journey is excellent.
Okay, so I think very nicely articulated, Doctor. Doctor, tell me one thing that, if you could just specify what are the, service offerings which the company offers to its customers, apart from dialysis centers, what are the other, services which the company provides so that we can understand, the company's profile in a much better way?
Very nice question. Dialysis is a very small chunk of nephrological care, what Nephrocare provides. We provide clinical consultations. We provide conservative nephrology care. We provide renal nutrition care. We provide Mukti as a service. We have an entire NABL accredited lab to serve all the diagnostics for the patients. We have entire radiology imaging systems. We have all the cutting edge technology to identify autonomic nervous system abnormalities, which are otherwise very common in the renal failure patients. We have home care. We have the pharmacy to deliver the medicine to the patients. So our ecosystem is such a nicely designed. It combines everything which is needed for a patient who is suffering from kidney problem. So it is care, all the ancillary support which is needed for the patients, including the yoga and Mukti wellness program, nutrition, cooking class, patient empowerment, everything is there. So that's the model. So you name a service which is needed for a patient, we have it.
So fine. I think, Doctor, one important point which you mentioned was Mukti. If you could just give in a very simple way, what does Mukti stand for, and how has that concept, migrated? Because I remember having met you personally, you had explained it very beautifully. But for the benefit of our viewers, if you could just tell us briefly what is Mukti all about, and how does it help, our company in the entire process?
Yes. So Mukti means liberation. Obviously, the patient who are suffering from renal failure, they have so many pains, they want to get liberated from those pains. Mukti helps in that area. How? Because we work on the organ crosstalks. Organ crosstalk means inside our body, when kidney does not work well, it automatically has an impact on the functioning of the other organs, like our lungs does not function well, heart does not function well, liver is a problem, nervous system does not work well. So Mukti is a program which is based on the ancient yogic wisdom, blended with the modern medicine and modern physiological understanding, which stabilizes and synchronizes all the organ functions of a patient who is suffering from kidney patients.
Okay.
As of now, more than 3,000 patients are practicing Mukti, and they are hugely benefited in terms of the Mukti along with the whatever medical care we provide. So Mukti is a very valuable add-on to the journey of a patient who is suffering from the pain of CKD to get liberation from the pain for CKD. That is the reason it has been designed as a Mukti. It's a term as a Mukti.
No, I think very nicely again articulated by you, doctor. Doctor, now tell me, on ground, what is the kind of opportunity for us to grow? Because obviously, kidney transplants in India are a growing segment. But if I were to ask you over the next, say, 3 to 5 years, the roadmap and the runway for us is very large. I know that. But today we are, pretty small in size. But over the next, say, 3 to 5 years, how do you see this growth, growing, and how will the company capitalize on this growth? Because I understand there's a huge market to cover and a huge geographical base to cover. So, if you could just tell us briefly, how does the company plan to capitalize on this growth and obviously benefit our company?
The point is, if we look at the numbers in this country, there are roughly 2.2 lakhs new end-stage kidney disease patients who need dialysis support. And this is tip of the iceberg. If you consider the entire gamut of the CKD, for one dialysis requiring patient, there are the 20 CKD patients who are slowly progressing to the dialysis stage. So if you have a 2.2 lakhs patient who are needing to the dialysis, by rule of thumb, there will be more than 22 lakhs patients adding in the CKD basket.
Okay.
Now, Nephro Care has a service modality and the care model design to cater from the early stage to the end stage and everything. So we have a huge opportunity because 34 million new dialysis sessions is a need per year, which we cannot match up. So in this country, you have hardly 5,000 dialysis stations, and we need more than 66,000 dialysis centers. So there is a huge gap. So this gap we can meet up. So we are trying to scale it up by developing capacity building, developing new centers, engaging new and new consultants, engaging new and new technical persons, and obviously scaling up across the country. Right now, we are operating in Kolkata. We have 3 centers right now, but we are adding up new centers in the North Bengal, new centers, another new centers in the Kolkata, then in the Odisha, and also in the Mumbai. So we are expanding in a very faster way.
Okay. Doctor, now tell me one thing that in terms of, I read from the prospectus and the presentation that we are also planning to put a small hospital apart from dialysis center. So, if you could share with us, that development also, because that also is quite interesting. So, in what
Yes,
will that help our company in the medium to long term? So please share your thoughts.
exactly. So initially, when we started with the daycare renal care centers. The daycare renal care centers, as I earlier iterated, that it has a consultation, diagnostics, daycare dialysis, pharmacy, and the Mukti programs. But eventually, understanding the criticality of the CKD patients or chronic kidney disease patients, a significant numbers needs hospital admission. A significant numbers need renal transplants. So earlier, we used to do this in the third-party hospitals. In other hospitals, we used to admit the patient and get the service done. Right now, we got the opportunity to build up our own hospital, which is more than 100-bedded facility. And as because a chronic kidney disease patient has other problems too, problems related to the heart, gastroenterology. So we are not keeping this hospital only as a kidney hospital. We are making it a multi-specialty hospitals where as our patient will be benefited and other disciplines also can grow independently to serve it. I believe these new addition on the Nephro Care portfolio will boost up our revenues and boost up our entire service model in a multiple fold, in many folds, and will complete the circle of care. Nobody will go out of our ecosystem. They will get the entire service inside the Nephro Care system. That is a vision with which we are coming up with a 100-bedded hospital, 100+ bedded hospital.
I think nice to know that. Doctor, now tell me one thing. We all know about the financials of Nephro Care, but two questions. One is, what is the level of competitive intensity in our business? And secondly, in what way is Nephro Care, adding value to the customers? In what way are we different from competition? I would like to know two, three qualitative points from you. Whether our
Yes.
service is good, whether our doctors are very good, whether the patients who come here feel little homely at our centers. So what two, three qualitative points which can give us more confidence that yes, this is the right place for kidney treatment. So if you can please share your thoughts on this aspect.
Absolutely. The point is, when every promoter will tell that we are the best. I'm not telling this because I'm telling this what is reflected in the people's mind in terms of our Google review, in terms of the revenue we generated, because people only pay money when they get service. Otherwise,
Exactly.
nobody will love to pay. So if you look at our financial, you'll understand how good we are. If you look at our Google reviews, it is 4.8 to 4.9 network case reviews in the Googles. So these are the two simple index. Now let me explain why this thing has into that. None of our competitors, majority of the competitors are dialysis service providers, but we are not dialysis service providers. We are the entire A to Z of the renal care providers. That means starting from the early kidney disease to retarding kidney problems, retarding dialysis, and if somebody unfortunately is providing dialysis to is taken in our care model, Mukti, the nutrition service, and also the benchmark and the most intensive diagnostic and cutting-edge diagnostic technology which is needed for the very advanced diagnosis and the providing very advanced care. Here we are different from the others. Okay, so the doctors who are onboarded in our team, the research we do, the service model we have developed, the softer values we add to the care of the patients is unique. So I don't feel I have any competition.
No, I think very nicely articulated again, doctor. Now, Tapas, sorry for keeping you waiting for a long time. Now, some inputs on the financials, sir. Tapas, tell me one thing. FY23 was a very strong year. We reported revenues of 17 crores from 3 crores previously. And of course, in the first 9 months also, both our top line and profitability has jumped significantly. So I want to know from you, what has been the key reason for this, significant jump in revenue and profits? And second is, are these numbers sustainable? Like already FY24, all technical reasons, March 24 is complete. Now we are already into FY25. So, without putting a number for obviously compliance reasons, if you could just tell us, what is the kind of demand outlook you would like to share, for the coming year?
Right. So I'll probably go back a bit longer on the timeline. So since inception, that is from 2014, when Nephro was conceptualized, it was more of a dialysis service in third-party hospitals. But as per our MD's vision to provide the entire ecosystem and the 360-degree care A to Z, we needed our own clinic. So our first flagship clinic at Salt Lake was set up in December 2021. So if you look at the FY22 numbers, 21-22 numbers, we basically just had numbers representing 3 months of our own clinic operation. 2023 was a year where we actually got the operations for 12 months time frame for the flagship clinic. And that was the reason that we saw a 400% jump in the top line and similarly a significant jump in the bottom line as well. I can't put numbers as you rightly mentioned, but if you look at our audited figures for first 3 quarters of FY23-24, we've surpassed the top line as well as the bottom line for the previous year already. The last quarter of the last financial year, the numbers are yet to come out, but what I can say at this moment is that our pace has been better compared to the first 3 quarters. About the momentum going forward, it's a very interesting question. So if you're looking at 24-25, a lot of people are wondering what type of numbers we'll be throwing at. I can only share a couple of interesting facts here. If you look at the previous year, 23-24, that the figures of top line, bottom line actually represents the 12 months operation of our one clinic only, because we started our second clinic in Salt Lake, which just contributed for 6 to 7 months of revenue. Our third clinic which has come up at Chandanagar started in March. So those numbers have not been captured in the previous year figure. So for 24-25, I will have the 12 months figure for all the three units jointly.
Okay.
Also, if you look at the upcoming centers which have been mentioned in the prospectus, we are adding a center at Shambazar in Kolkata in the next 2 months. We are starting another center at Northern Bengal, Alipurduar, in the next 2 months. We are in a very advanced stage of discussion for certain units outside the state in Balasore and Mumbai, which should be contributing towards revenue in FY 24-25. And the most interesting part, if you look at the object of the IPO, we are raising funds for the 100-bed hospital. So I would actually have numbers from the hospital coming in for 7 to 8 months in the financial year 24-25.
Okay.
So this itself would hint about the type of traction that we have in place to put in some very significant numbers for FY 2024.
So I think Tapas very nicely articulated, and that gives an idea of what kind of potential we can expect over the next 2 years from the company. Now, tell me one thing, Tapas, again without giving a number. Last year, I think till now, the EBITDA margin which I was seeing was about 21%. Very attractive numbers. At least yes, no from you whether we can at least sustain these margins or better these margins. I mean, at least if by not giving me a number, but at least telling me whether we can expect some further improvement as more centers come in, the hospital comes in. So can we expect better profitability going ahead?
I'll take it in two different ways. First of all, if you look at the first three quarters of FY 23-24, we had around 400 plus basis points jump in the EBITDA margin, which stands at around 25% plus. Now, this was taking into consideration that some of the units were yet to break even. So for the current year, we'll have most of the new units breaking even, and that should actually help us. Nephro have been providing OPD services so far. With the hospital, we will be providing IPD services, and if you go by the industry standards, the IPD services EBITDA margins are way better.
Okay.
But I won't put a number, but I think the EBITDA margins that we are maintaining, we should be able to sustain such numbers.
Okay.
Though there will be a significant jump in our top line.
Okay, good. So thank you for that. Tapas, now one more question on the working capital side. Typically, what's the kind of working capital cycle in our business? If you could please share your thoughts on this.
So for Nephro Care, we have something very interesting coming up on that front. Most of our patient revenues are upfront in cash, whereas most of our vendors actually are paid after a due date. So we have a negative working capital. So for example, if you look at FY 23-24, we have around, as for the 31st December 2023, it was around negative 42 days.
Okay.
And the year before that, it was around 19 days negative. So I think that gives us enough room for managing our cash flow in a much better way, because majority of our revenues are upfront and cash.
Okay. Understood. I think, but hopefully, I think Tapas, this trend will continue in future also, because very few companies have got negative working capital. So this is a big positive for Nephro Care, and I think that will add a lot of value to the company as well as to the new investors who join your growth journey. So it's very good to know. Doctor, now one important question for this interview is that the company is going to hit the capital market. Basically, how much funds are we planning to raise, and apart from the hospital, any other vertical expense like working capital or some other expense which you also want to fund out of this IPO money? If you could please share your thoughts.
We are bringing this issue with a target of roughly 41.4, 41.2 CR, I believe.
Yeah.
So this is now a portion of this will go for our object of this issue for the setting of the hospitals. That is the main goal. And the revenue which are coming through the different units, because we are always in the positive cash flow, we are adding new centers from that money. So our internal accruals are supporting our new units as we are going on, because we are a zero debt company. We have no debt. And obviously, as Tapas already nicely reiterated, we don't need any working capital in our hands. in this way we are running. So I'm quite hopeful for the journey because the model which we have developed, it is self-sustainable in the sense, earlier we were admitting patients to the different third-party hospitals. And now in our ecosystem, the hospital is coming, which will obviously churn and boost all the circle of the care and obviously boost our revenue altogether. So that is the main area we are looking for. But which is most important, is not directly connected to the IPO, that we are doing a lot of serious research. We are getting some of the research projects which is supported by the DSTs in collaboration with NIT Silchar, IIT Kharagpur. We are coming up with some new technologies which are not going to open right now. I'm very hopeful that will develop a new front and new streamlines of the business in our enter the Nephro family, which nobody has ever thought. I'm not opening that secret right now because very soon it will become.
No, no, I think at the
Another
right
very
time,
interesting
doctor, we
area.
will ask you. I mean, you need not tell us now, but we will definitely ask you when the right time comes. Doctor, now tell me one thing, another interesting question, from an investor standpoint of view. You have built this company from scratch. Now it's ready to go public. Now, new investors are going to join you in your growth journey as a promoter, not as a doctor, but as a promoter of this business. Broadly, what would be your message to the new investors from a long-term perspective? How would you be able to reward them? In what way would you reward them in the next, say, 3 to 4 years? Because obviously, in stock markets, as you must be aware now, that obviously
Yes.
every investment is an opportunity.
But
So if you could please tell us your thoughts.
absolutely. The word reward has a different meanings, and I have to give it in a two front. The very simplistic way, reward means whatever money I've invested, what did I get? That will be reflected by our numbers. That we are jumping in a 400% in FY23 from the FY22, and I hope the way that we are definitely. But question is, above and beyond the financial reward, what reward every investor will get from Nephrocare? Their money is investing in somebody's life, somebody's well-being. So the money they are earning, that ultimately being utilized to help a person to live in a better quality of life, to add more years to somebody's life, that is a different reward. If somebody understands what I mean, they will understand it is not simply the financial reward. Financial reward obviously evident.
Yeah.
If you see our numbers, we understand what financial reward you will give. But you can get it from selling some alcohol or selling something which is dangerous for the society. So here you have a financial reward on that. You have a solace to your perception that whatever reward I'm getting, it ultimately adding somebody's life, adding years to somebody's life, helping somebody to live in a better quality of life and saving somebody's life. I think no other industry can give this much of satisfaction and this much of recognition and this much of monetary return, which we are making through the vehicle, which is called Nephro.
So I think, Doctor, you rightly mentioned, I think it's a great service to humanity, which is very important and which I think Napocare is doing in a very significant way. Last question, Doctor, now for today would be that, see, in every business, there is risk. I think we saw COVID, which was one of the most biggest risks. Now, apart from COVID in our business, Doctor, what is the main risk in our business? Like, if there is any risk, if you could please specify, how have you managed this risk so well up till now? So if you could please share your thoughts on this.
The problem is actually in this country, the need of nephrological care is so urgent, so imminent. Apart from this type of pandemic, I can't see any big risk because this country, roughly 15% of the people suffer diabetes, and eventually 30% of the diabetic lands in a kidney problem. So we have 4 billion people. You just calculate the numbers, how many kidney disease patients come from one single cause, that is diabetes. The national survey says that we have 22% people who are suffering from hypertension, and eventually 15 to 20% of hypertension lands in the kidney disease. So there is a huge demand and there is a huge gap. So until unless those type of this epidemic suddenly came, this type of problem does not come. This chronic kidney disease is an indolent problem in this country. We need a solution. We need a care model which we have established, and we need to engage a lot of good doctors. Otherwise, I don't see there is a very serious risk. That is the thing, in my opinion.
No, I think very nicely again articulated, Doctor. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much. And Tapan, Tapas, thank you for your inputs also. My best wishes to you, your entire management team, and Doctor, best wishes for your forthcoming IPO also. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Avinash ji, for your nice interaction and very pertinent questions. I believe all the viewers will be very much enriched to understand what exactly you do and what is the business potential here and what is the ultimate value you can deliver along with the business, what you can do jointly together with the Nephro. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Namaskar.